Hello, welcome to the Battle Freaks gameplay demo. Today we're going to be playing through a game. I'm going to be talking about some of the rules, not going to get too deep into it. Just want to have some fun today and show off some of the gameplay, and you can get an idea if this is something you'd be into or not. In Battle Freaks, we're going to be forming a crew of mutant fighters, and we're going to do that through deck building. We can pick whatever fighters we want to put into our deck, and then we're going to send them into the city, which is represented by these different location cards. And our fighters can move around the city, they can attack enemies, and they can remove control from locations because the enemies are going to be trying to capture a location by placing these control tokens. And when it reaches the control threshold, they capture it and we lose the game. So before they do that, we need to defeat the boss. That's the objective of the game. That's how we win. Each game, you can play against a different boss, and we just need to reduce their hit points to 0 before they capture a location, and we win the game. And this is a solo game, so it's specifically designed for the solo experience. So yeah, we're going to get into some gameplay. I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to start from scratch. We're going to go through the deck building, the setup, and play through a game, and we're just going to have some fun today. So if you're interested in seeing how this game plays, stick around for the rest of this video. So the first thing we're going to want to do is build our deck. And the deck building rules are super simple. There's 4 different factions. We got the red brute faction. They specialize in just high attack output. We have the blue rebel faction. They're specializing in resisting control, so they're going to be able to help defend the city the best. We have the green punk faction, which has a variety of abilities. They'll have a lot of move abilities. And then we have the gear faction, which is all of our gear. It's all of our items, just the cool things we can give our fighters: spiked bat, grappling hook, and those are going to provide instant effects that will just help us throughout the game. To build our deck, we simply choose 10 cards from each faction, and that forms our 40 card deck. Let's start by choosing 10 of the red brute faction. Let's start with 2 copies of Pack Rat. His ability is to draw a card, so it's just going to help us with card draw and having more options. Let's get Reeker. Let's get Brickhorn, who just has a high attack power and also a move ability that deals damage. Sandstorm, we're going to want Sandstorm. He helps to move fighters around. Let's get 2 copies of Toothache. It's just a cool guy. You know what? I kind of want 1 copy of Warhog. I'm going to swap out 1 Toothache for 1 Warhog. And that's my 10 brutes. And the rebel faction, specializing in resisting control. I definitely want Riptide. He's pretty versatile, really, because he has a move ability that deals damage and removes control. It's pretty handy. Nutjob just helps play cards cheaper. Bucktooth, we'll get Gander. Cobrax. Yeah, maybe I'll swap 1 Gander for a Kangahop. Okay, that's the rebel faction. And then the green punk faction, let's get Pink Slip, Bullseye, Lamb Chop, Tank Top, Ransack. Sweet. Let's trade 1 copy of Tank Top for a Hospitoad. And then 10 gear cards. Definitely want the grappling hook. 2 copies of that. The energy drink. 2 backpacks. 2 armor. 1 night vision goggle and 1 spiked bat. So that's it. That's my deck. I can take all those and shuffle them together. And now we need to form the city. So we're going to take our 10 location cards, and they all have the same back, so we won't know which locations the enemies are trying to invade. They could be trying to invade the subway tracks or the rooftop or the hospital. So we're just going to put 3 random ones into play, and the rest of the location cards can be returned to the box. Now we need to shuffle the hazard deck. That's basically going to say what the enemies do on their turn. And then we're going to shuffle the minion deck. That is all the potential minions that could come out during the game. No matter what boss we choose, they're going to pull minions from this deck to form their crew. So each game you're going to be fighting against a completely unique set of enemies. So in the core set, there's 3 different bosses that we could play against. We could play against Bare Knuckle, Cold Snap, and Trunk Stomp. And each of these bosses is going to require a different approach in terms of strategy to overcome them. And for today's video, we're going to go against Bare Knuckle. He's the easiest boss. It's who you should play your first game against. Okay, now that we've chosen the boss we want to play against, let's go ahead and set the hit point dial. This is the boss hit point dial. And Bare Knuckle is going to have 50 hit points. So that's how much damage we have to do to defeat him and win the game. When we put an enemy into play, we're just going to look at the deploy icon, which is in the top left-hand corner of the enemy card. And that indicates which location this enemy spawns into. So Bare Knuckles is pointing to the center location. It could be pointing left. It could be pointing right. Bare Knuckles is pointing to the center. So he goes to this location. And he has the enters play ability. Discard 3 cards from the hazard deck. 1, 2, 3. And that's basically going to make him level up faster. Because when this deck runs out, when we would draw a card from it and there's none left, we reshuffle it and we level up the boss. So that's it. That's the whole setup. We just need to draw our opening hand and gain 1 energy token. We got armor. We got toothache, spiked bat, brickhorn, and nut job. First, I want to play nut job. And in the top left-hand corner is the cost of the card. That's the energy cost. So nut job costs 1. And there's 2 ways to generate energy. 1, we can use our energy token. And let's do that. Let's use it for nut job. We spend our energy token. We've paid the 1 energy. Now we can put nut job into any location we want. Let's put him here. And nut job has the enters play ability. Reduce the cost of the next card you play this turn by 1. So that effectively reduces the cost of the next card I play. So I want to play Brickhorn, who costs 4. And I just have to pay 3 for him. I'm out of energy tokens, but the other way you can generate energy is by just discarding a card from your hand. So I'm going to discard all 3 of these, generates 3 energy, and I can put Brickhorn into play. And I'm going to put him here as well. And I'll just explain some more of the card anatomy here. So in the top right corner, that's the hit points. Brickhorn has 7, nut job has 1. And then there's these 3 powers here, the red, blue, and green. The top red one is the attack power. The blue one is the resist power, and the green one is the move power. And then each card is going to have different card abilities, and I'll just get into those as they come up. This turn, I'm just going to be using the attack powers, which is very straightforward. Brickhorn has an attack power of 3. I exert him to use that power. I do 3 damage to the boss. 1, 2, 3, he's down to 47. Exact same thing is going to happen with Nutjob. I exert him, uses attack power. Nutjob just has 1 attack, so another 1 damage brings him down to 46. But that's all I can do for now, so I'm going to end the player phase. Going to ready all exerted fighters. Going to prep any spent energy tokens and draw 5 new cards. And then we move on to the enemy phase. And the enemy phase has 2 steps. 1, all enemies activate. 2, resolve a hazard card. So, all enemies activate. There's only 1 enemy, Bare Knuckle. And when an enemy activates, they check their location. If there's fighters there, they attack. If there's no fighters, they control. So, Bare Knuckle checks his location. There are fighters here, so he's going to attack. And he has an attack power of 2 and a control power of 2. So he attacks, and when an enemy attacks, they always target the fighter with the least remaining hit points. So Brickhorn has 7, Nutjob has 1. Bare Knuckle is targeting Nutjob. So he does 2 damage. which defeats Nutjob because Nutjob has 1 hit point, so he goes to my discard pile. And Bare Knuckle also has the keyword overkill, which means excess damage is dealt to the next viable target. So that extra 1 damage is going over to Brickhorn. So that was step 1. Step 2, we resolve a hazard card. Reinforcements. And when we resolve a hazard card, you can see there's 3 tiers of events here, the level 1, level 2, level 3. We're going to resolve each of those up to the boss's current level. So the boss is at level 1, so we're just resolving that first level 1 event. And in this case, it's put 1 minion into play. Ransack. So he's got the deploy icon pointing to the right location, so we're going to put him over here. And he has the enters play ability. Discard the top card of your deck. Add control equal to that card's cost to this location. So 2, we're adding 2 control to that location. And on the top left-hand corner of every location is the control threshold. When control either matches or exceeds the control threshold, it advances and we flip it over. So that's the enemy phase. Back to the player phase. Okay, so now we got this guy over here, up to no good, trying to invade this location. I'm going to start by playing Backpack because it costs 0 and it draws 2 cards. So it's a gear card, so it's just going to happen and go right to my discard pile, and I get 2 cards. Okay, awesome. I'm going to play Pack Rat. It costs 1, so I'm using my energy token. I'm going to put him here. And he has the enters play ability, draw a card. I'm going to put Sandstorm into play. And he costs 2, so I'm discarding 2 cards from my hand. And Sandstorm, so he has a card ability here that I want to use. And he has an exert ability, so I can exert Sandstorm, and then I can move a fighter at this location to an adjacent location. And that's what I want to do. So I'm exerting Sandstorm, and I'm going to move Brickhorn to this location. And I want to do that because Brickhorn has a move ability. And his move ability is deal 2 damage to all enemies at this location. And move abilities trigger every time that character moves. So he's dealing 2 damage right away to Ransack here. And then I'm just going to use Brickhorn's attack power to do another 3 damage, which brings his total damage up to 5, and he has a total hit points of 6. So Pack Rat's going to sneak in that 1 extra damage. And that defeats Ransack. That was pretty good. I'm going to use an energy drink, cost 0, ready a fighter. And I'm going to move Brickhorn back over here. Because we know when he moves, he deals 2 damage to all enemies at that location. Bringing Bare Knuckle down to 44. Actually have another energy drink. Or I could put Lamb Chop into play, which actually does a similar thing. Yeah, plus I get the fighter there. Paying 1 for Lamb Chop. He has the enters play ability, ready a fighter at this location. So I'm going to ready Brickhorn. Basically just attack again. Also attack with Lamb Chop. So Brickhorn had 3 attack. Lamb Chop has 1, so 4 damage. And Bare Knuckle's down to 40. We're on our way. Bringing him down. That's all I can do. I'm going to end the player phase, so I'm going to ready all exerted fighters, going to prep any spent energy tokens, and draw 5 new cards. Enemy phase, Bare Knuckle is going to activate. He's still just the only enemy in play. So now he checks his location, and Lamb Chop has 1 hit point, so that's who he's targeting. And that 2 damage defeats Lamb Chop, and the other 1 damage is going to go to Sandstorm because he only has 3 hit points, so that's the next viable target. And then we're going to resolve a hazard card, targeted strike. Add 3 control to the location with the least control. And there's 2 viable options here because both of these locations have no control. And whenever that happens, you just choose which location. So I'm going to put it here. Okay, I'm going to play another Pack Rat over here using my energy token. And when he enters play, I get to draw a card. Awesome. And then I want to play Riptide here. He costs 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, the rest of my cards. And Riptide has a resist value of 3, so I can exert him and resist 3 control from this location. I'm going to use both of these guys to resist as well. They have a resist power of 1, so that clears that off. And then both of these guys are going to attack. And I'll mention now, so below their card ability is their faction symbol, and beside their faction symbol is their faction ability. And that is considered locked until there's 2 or more fighters of the same faction at one location. Because these guys like teamwork, they like working together. Once 2 or more fighters of the same faction are at one location, those abilities are unlocked. So Sandstorm has the faction ability. It's a constant ability of gaining 1 attack. So because Brickhorn's here and he's also a red brute fighter, Sandstorm gains that 1 attack and has a total of 3 attack now and deals 3 damage. And Brickhorn's faction ability, it lets him deal 2 damage to all enemies at a location, which can be useful, but right now it's not. So I'm just going to use his attack power to deal 3 damage. And we got Bare Knuckle down to 34 now. And that's the end of the player phase. I'm going to ready all exerted fighters, prep my energy token, and draw 5 new cards. Bare Knuckle activates, deals 2 damage to Sandstorm, defeats him. Resolve a hazard card, advance, add 2 control to all locations. That's fine. Totally manageable for now. Not a big deal yet. Once the boss levels up, he becomes exponentially more powerful and it's going to become more difficult, but for now, we're doing great. I'm going to play my backpack, costs 0, so I get to just play it for free and draw 2 cards. I'm going to put Warhog into play for 2, so 1 and 2. Yeah. Riptide, going to clear that off. Both of these guys are going to attack, so 3 damage. And Warhog, his faction ability is unlocked, which is boosting his attack by 1. So putting his attack to 2. So that's a total of 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bringing Bare Knuckle down to 29. Both of these guys are going to resist that. And then I'm going to play Pink Slip here. Cost 2. And he has the enters play ability. You may move a fighter in play to this location. I'm going to move Riptide here. Because he has the move ability, remove 2 control from this location. Deal 2 damage to an enemy at this location. So that's a pretty powerful move ability. But he is a 4 cost, so I did have to pay a lot to get him out. And then I'm going to use Pink Slip to just do 2 damage. So he's at Bare Knuckle's down to 25. We've already done half the damage. We're kind of crushing it right now. This grappling hook, I have no use for that. I'm just going to discard it. End of the player phase. I'm going to ready all exerted fighters, prep my energy token, and draw 5 new cards. So enemy phase, Bare Knuckle attacks for 2. Pink Slip has the least hit points, so it goes to him. And then we resolve a hazard card. Infiltrate. Put 1 minion into play, and then that minion controls. Okay, Hammerclaw. So his deploy icon, it's not pointing to a specific location here. It is a spawn star, and that means that he has a spawn ability. So he's going to spawn into a specific location depending on what his spawn ability is. And his is the fighter with the most HP's location, which is Riptide, who has 7 hit points still. So he spawns at that location. And Hammerclaw is also armored, so he gets an armored token, which means next time he would take damage, the armored token will just absorb all that damage. And he also has the Enters Play ability, deal 3 damage to the fighter with the most HP at this location. So, it goes to Riptide. Warhog's going to attack Hammerclaw just to clear off that armor. I think Pink Slip's just going to move and get out of the way, because he only has 1 hit point left. Brickhorn is going to use his faction ability, Exert Brickhorn, deal 2 damage to all enemies at this location. I think I'm going to just play another Brickhorn for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just do that exact same thing. And then Riptide will also attack Hammerclaw for 2. Hammerclaw has 7 hit points total and has 6 damage right now. So unfortunately I can't squeeze out that 1 extra damage, but that's fine. There's nothing for these guys to do. So they'll just stay there and protect this location. So I'm going to ready all exerted fighters. Didn't use my energy token that turn. Didn't need it. Draw 5 new cards. Drink some water. Do the hydration phase. And then the enemy phase. When there's more than 1 enemy at a location, you just choose which order they activate. Riptide has 4 hit points left. Warhog has 4 hit points. So, yeah, when there's 2 viable options at any part of the game for the enemy choice, the player chooses. So, basically, I choose who is attacking first and who is getting targeted here. And it's going to be Warhog. So, Hammerclaw attacks for 2. Bare Knuckle attacks for 2, defeating Warhog. And now I would draw a hazard card. I'm out, so I reshuffle it and I level up the boss. So I'm just going to grab the level 2, just replace it here. So the level 2 version of Bare Knuckle has the armored keyword, so he gets armor, and he also has the Enters Play ability, put a minion into play. Chimpan Kong goes over there. It's got the right deploy icon. And now that I've leveled up the boss, I can continue with the step 2 of the enemy phase and resolve a hazard card. And now that the boss is level 2, we're going to be doing the level 1 event and then the level 2. So things are going to become much more difficult starting now. Level 1, put 1 minion into play, and that minion activates with +1 powers. Okay, so when we're resolving a hazard card, we complete one sentence, or we complete each sentence one at a time. And that's important because there's going to be sequencing of enemies triggering things. So first, put 1 minion into play. We got a Warhog here. Going to the right location with the Enters Play ability, the boss activates. And Bare Knuckle has an attack of 3 now. So he does 3 damage to Riptide. In the second sentence, that minion activates with +1 powers. So he's attacking. He has 3 attack power. Packrat has 1 hit point. I can just choose which one is taking that damage. He doesn't have overkill, so the excess damage doesn't spill over, luckily. And then the level 2 event, which is the exact same thing. Put one minion into play. That minion activates with +1 powers. And it's another Warhog. And he's going to the center location this time. And I think I'll just put them... I'll put them like that, just because I don't have a lot of vertical space with this camera setup. So I put 1 minion into play. And he has the Enters Play ability again. The boss activates. So he's doing another 3 damage. And he has overkill, so 1 damage there, and the other 2 damage is going to go on to Brickhorn, the guy who already has it damaged. So, and then that minion activates with +1 powers, so 3 damage. Okay, so now there's a lot going on. A lot of guys here. They really want to invade this location. Luckily, Brickhorn is kind of the perfect person to have out right now because of his faction ability, being able to deal damage to all of them. Let's do that. Let's start with that. So this guy's going to use his faction ability, deal 2 damage to all enemies at this location. 2 damage gets absorbed by the armor. 2 damage here defeats Hammerclaw. And 2 damage here. And then I think this Brickhorn. No. Let's do this. So I'm going to play Pink Slip here. He costs 2, so 1, 2. And enters play. You may move a fighter and play to this location. So I'm moving that Brickhorn over. And he has the move ability, deal 2 damage to all enemies at this location. And then using his faction ability, because Pack Rat is here, that's unlocked, dealing 2 damage again to all enemies at this location. So that's huge. I'm going to put Nutjob into play here for 1. And he has the enters play, reduce the cost of the next card you play this turn by 1. So I can play Lamb Chop for free. And he has the enters play ability, ready a fighter at this location. So then I can use Brickhorn's faction ability again, deal another 2 damage to both of these guys. 2 damage defeats Warhog. And Chimpan Kong has 1 hit point left. And I'll just use Pack Rat to finish him off. And Pink Slip has a move power of 2, so he can move up to 2 locations. So I'm going to move him over here. And Nutjob can do 1 damage to Warhog. And I think, yeah, that's it. So, ready, all fighters in play. Prep my spent energy tokens and draw 5 new cards. 3. Oh, my deck is empty now. So when your deck runs out, just reshuffle it and also gain 1 energy token. So now I have a 2nd energy token that I can use for the rest of the game. And yeah, drawing back up to 5 cards. Okay, enemy phase. So I'm going to have Warhog attack first. 2 damage. Both of these guys have 1 hit point, so Nutjob just absorbs that 2 damage, and then Bare Knuckle attacks for 3 with overkill, but there's nobody else here to take the damage, so it just gets lost. That's why I wanted Warhog to attack first, because if I had had Bare Knuckle attack first, he would have defeated them both in 1 hit, and then Warhog would have controlled. So, yeah, just choosing the right sequencing of which enemies attack can really be to your benefit. And then resolve 1 hazard card. Reinforcements. So the level 1, put 1 minion into play. Ransack. He has the enters play ability, discard the top card of your deck, add control equal to that card's cost to this location. Very unfortunate. Riptide is a 4. So 4 control. And then the second event is put 2 minions into play, and they're going to enter play 1 at a time. So first, another Ransack, and he's going over here. Same thing, another 4. They're not messing around anymore. The second minion, Hospitoad. He has got a spawn star, so he spawns at a very specific location, and in this circumstance, it's the boss's location. So I guess I'll just rearrange it like that now. Just move that up a bit. And he has the enters play ability, heal the boss, or the boss heals 3 hit points. 2, 3, so he's back up to 24. They are really not messing around at this location. I got no guys there right now. We got to do something about that. So Pink Slip, his faction ability is unlocked because there's 2 green punk faction people here. So I'm going to use Pink Slip's faction ability, which is exert Pink Slip, return Pink Slip to your hand. So he basically flies off and comes back to your hand. And that's super handy because now I can play him again. And also, it kind of like just healed him, right? Because he had 2 damage. He only had 1 hit point left anyways. So I do want to play him again. I'm going to play him over here. He costs 2, so I can use both my energy tokens. When he enters play, you may move a fighter in play to this location. Brickhorn, dealing 2 damage to everybody here. Great use of that ability. He's up to 5. Hospito takes 2. And the boss takes 2. I think if I get another red fighter here, I can use his faction ability, which would be pretty handy. Yeah, let's just move Packrat over just to unlock Brickhorn's faction ability. And then do another 2 damage to everyone here. That defeats Warhog. Bare Knuckles down to 20 hit points. Let's have Pink Slip do just an attack of 2. I think let's just play Bucktooth. And he's just going to... Okay, this Pink Slip will do 2 damage. Defeats Ransack. Bucktooth will do 1 damage to Hospitoad here. And then I'm going to play Armor. Cost 2. And I'm going to give Armor to Packrat. Because I know he has the least remaining hit points. He's going to be targeted first, so he can block this big attack of 3. Lamb Chop, you're doing great over there, brother. You just keep living the dream. He's got no control, no bad guys. Everything's good in Lamb Chop's world. So I'm going to ready all exerted fighters, prep my energy tokens, draw 5 new cards. All enemies activate. And there's enemies at multiple locations now, so we're going to start with the left location, move to the center, and if there was any here, we would go to the right finally. Ransack attacks for 1, just does 1 damage here. Bare Knuckle attacks for 3. Packrat absorbs it with his armor. Hospitoad attacks for 1, defeating Packrat, but at least he blocked that big hit. Resolve a hazard card. Infiltrate. Put 1 minion into play. Shell Shock, he's also armored. And that minion controls. So even though there's fighters here, he is specifically controlling. And he has a control power of 1. But he also has double strike, which means when he activates twice. So he puts 1 control on the location, and then he does it again, which brings it to 6, which is the control threshold of this location. So it is invaded, and that location advances. And it's the Clock Tower. And it has the enters play ability to discard a card from the hazard deck. So that's just going to make him level up faster. And now the control threshold is 9. If that is reached or exceeded, we lose the game because they've broken in past the outskirts and now they're in the city and they're trying to capture a location. And if we let them capture this location, game over. We lose. So that was the level 1 event of that hazard card. And level 2, discard 2 cards from your hand. So I guess, these 2. Or maybe these 2. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Would love to use Brickhorn's ability. I don't have any other red fighters, though, so I can't get his faction ability going. Although I can move Brickhorn over here. He deals 2 damage. Use an energy drink. Ready Brickhorn. Move him back over here. Does 2 damage to everybody. 2 damage defeats Hospitoad. Clears this armor. And oh, yeah, down to 18 for Bare Knuckle. Pink Slip does the remaining 2 damage to defeat Ransack. And both these guys will attack and just do 3 damage to Shell Shock. Use this energy drink for Brickhorn, doing another 3 damage to Shell Shock. Here we go, clearing it all out. I got night vision goggles. I'm going to pay 1 for that. Removes 3 control from a location. Everything. That was great. That was a huge turn. Cleared out all the minions. Lamb Chop still living his best life. End of the player phase. Draw 5 new cards. Enemy phase, Bare Knuckle attacks, 3 damage. These guys both have 3 hit points. Bucktooth will take the hit. Just defeats him. And for resolve a hazard card, first add 2 control to all locations. And then put one minion into play. That minion activates. Apex. So first we put the minion into play. Apex has the keyword ambush, which means he attacks right away. Or activates right away, rather. And because there's a fighter here, he attacks, does 3 damage, Lamb Chop, and then that minion activates. So now that there's nobody here, he puts another 1 control on that location. And that's that. Back to the player phase. I'm going to play a backpack, draw 2 cards. I'm going to play Reeker. So he costs 2. I'm going to play him here. He has the enters play ability to stun a minion at this location, which is good because Apex is pretty powerful with that 3 attack. And then I'm going to put Sandstorm into play there as well. And now that there's 2 brute red fighters, both of their faction abilities are unlocked, and for both of them it's boosting their attack by 1. So they both have an attack of 3. So we can deal 6 damage to Apex, who has 9 hit points. Yeah. Playing Lamb Chop for 1. When he enters play, he readies a fighter at this location. Ready Reeker. No, it's not really the best use because he's stunned. I don't have to worry about him right now. Yeah, I'm going to play Lamb Chop in a minute. Let's back that up. First, Brickhorn will attack for 3 to the boss. 2, 3. And Pink Slip's attacking for 2. This Pink Slip can just remove 1 or resist 1 control there. And then I'm going to play Lamb Chop here to ready Brickhorn and do another 3 damage. 2, 3. Lamb Chop can just take 1 of these off. Play it safe. Okay, that was great. Yeah, that made more sense because I could have defeated Apex, but he's stunned anyway, so I'm not too worried about him. Next turn, we'll get him. And Bare Knuckle's down to 10 hit points now. It's going great. Ready all exerted fighters, prep my energy tokens, draw 5 new cards. Bare Knuckle attacks, 3 damage, defeats Lamb Chop, and the other 2 goes on to Pink Slip. Apex would activate, but he's stunned, so he just removes that. Targeted Strike. Add 3 control to the location with the least control. And then deal 3 damage to each fighter at the location with the most fighters. So, 2 viable options. That means I get to choose. It's either 3 damage would defeat both of these guys. And yeah, let's do the 3 damage here. So to each fighter. So Pink Slip's defeated and 3 damage on Brickhorn. So let's first Reeker will do 3 damage, defeating him. We'll use 2 energy tokens to put Warhog into play. 3 damage from him. 1, 2, 3 brings it down to 7. Do another Warhog's faction ability is boosting his attack, so 2 damage. And then, yeah, let's get Toothache. His faction ability is boosting his attack, so 3 damage. So Bare Knuckles down to 2 hit points. I'm going to just remove 1 here and remove 1 here. Okay, I'm going to ready all exerted fighters. Next turn, I'm definitely going to win. Prep my energy tokens. Draw 5 new cards. Bare Knuckle activates. Everybody here has 4 hit points. I'm letting Warhog take the hit. And then Relentless. The boss activates. So 1, 2, 3. And then the boss activates again. So 1, 2, 3. And that's that, because Brickhorn is just going to start right away, deal 3 damage, and defeat the boss. And perfect timing, because next turn he would have leveled up and gotten even more powerful. Yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this video, because I had fun. I would like to do more, show off some more bosses, some more decks, get to see some more locations. And if you're interested in the game, you can follow the Kickstarter pre-launch page. I'll put that link in the description of this video. All right, thanks for watching, and I can't wait to get this game into your guys' hands so you can play yourself. Peace out.